So, with that being said, you're going to hold it just like this all night long. Keep it horizontal, so that way we have a nice YouTube video that I can upload to the website, and you guys have a nice video to watch. Now, if that red square turns to a circle, let me know. Hit it again, but let me know, because then I have to splice some video together for you. It's not a big deal. It just takes me a little bit longer, and I need to know which video goes to who. So, that is yours. I told you, you're going to keep your hands busy all night.
Just like that.
So,
So when you go on vacation with your wife, do you take this stuff, or is...
My vacations are normally because of this stuff. So I go to Gettysburg. I just got back from there in the summertime. I did 3 investigations up there.
Investigations for people that pay you, or just for fun?
It goes to my podcast. So Stories in a Cemetery is all, again, I'm a writer. So
so your website looked a lot bigger than just a guy doing tours and...
Right.
Yes.
So
okay, but I never
books.
researched any more of that. Yeah.
I write books that are about death and the afterlife, and it's all influenced from the investigations that I was doing on the weekends when I had a regular day job. And then it kind of turned into a podcast, and then it turned into a blog, then a podcast, and then I got kind of recruited into doing this, and then I broke away from the company that asked me to be part of theirs, and I was like, this is my own empire anyway, so it's mine. I don't work for a company. This is Stories in a Cemetery. I'm the owner.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a business license behind it. You know, I pay taxes on it. It's a legitimate business. So as far as, you know, the podcast and my investigations go, that is so that I can keep people coming on the tours. And of course, it's monetized. It's not really a big source of income, but at the same token, I get to tell people what ghost hunting really is instead of the TV shows. And I'm doing investigations that are legit. My gimmick is honesty. It always will be. I'm not going to make stuff up.
Right.
Even on the tours, if something's going off, we're going to debunk it first. Like, we're going to figure out if it could be something else. So that's always my first priority.
Sure.
Is it something natural that we just aren't seeing?
Correct.
So, and I'm always going to do that.
Yeah.
So, spirit boxes. Let me explain. Do you know what a spirit box is? Okay. This is an interesting gadget. So I use this guy. I'll tell you what it is first. There it goes. So it's sweeping, record. So this is basically a radio sweeper. So it's going to sweep through all of the FM radio stations, as you can see right here. And it's going to give us little snippets of words from DJs, song lyrics, commercials, those kind of things. Most of it isn't going to mean anything. But if you can make something out, I want to know what it is. The cool thing is that this guy's already recording. It's recording even when it's on mute. So even when I'm talking and telling you a story, I'm going to be able to go through this data of what it's recording right now. It doesn't record any outside noise whatsoever, only internal. So that's the reason why I got it. It's an amazing tool. So when I do my investigations and I'm visiting places like Gettysburg, this turns on just like this, goes in my pocket, I listen to it later to see what came up out of it. So I'm listening for those messages. Did you see the movie Transformers? Okay, so I'm going to explain it anyway. There's a character on there named Bumblebee, okay? He talks through the radio because he doesn't have a voice box.
Right.
So he relies on the radio voices to talk to whoever. It's the same principle. If my belief and reason why we do things the way that I'm doing it is because the spirit world can manipulate electronics because they're nothing but energy anyway. So if something's going to come through, they're going to wait for that word to come through so that way they can let us hear it. If we ask a direct question, hopefully we get a direct answer. Or something related to it. You have to remember, the word red isn't always going to come up. It might be something that's always red. So I can't explain, like a barn, for example, is usually red. So we might hear the word barn. That's usually red. If you say, what color is my shirt? And you hear the word barn, it might be because a barn is usually red. You see how the clues have to come together?
Yeah.
It's a lot of clue putting together.
Yeah.
So, and again, doing this on a daily basis, sometimes people can't hear what I'm looking for. And it's okay. That's why I have it recording.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to use my own tools, and you're going to use this guy. There's only one button on here that you need to worry about. It's a volume button, and it's a little wheel right here at the top.
Yeah.
So it's going to be some white noise, like a static. And then you're going to hear voices. I just heard the word inside. They're going to be quick because you see how fast it's going through the radio stations? It's going to be quick. So it's almost going to be, I think I heard this. And then I can verify it because I'm going to look at my watch and say, oh, it's 9:08. I need to look at the time frame 3 minutes in of when you started this.
So I have to listen for
Right.
words.
Phrases, whatever you can come up with. And I'm going to teach you more about this device on our first location. So that one is yours. Now let me show you what I'm going to be using for myself, and then we'll get rolling.
And then, so I'm just going to hold it.
That's it.
That
That's your
volume
job.
button, do I keep it up high, low, or?
So when I'm talking, obviously we have traffic and things like that. Just keep it low because it's recording for us anyway. So when I say let's go ahead and let's get that spirit box up, that's
Spirit box, right.
so I'll give you kind of cues, so
Gotcha.
to speak.
Alright.
So I'm going to use a few devices myself. Obviously, I'm already recording this with audio, and unfortunately, it started with the ambulance that went by. So you could probably skip the first 10 seconds. Let's see here, where is it? So I'm going to use a few spirit boxes on my phone as well. This one is going to give us a word in the center of the screen from time to time. This app is meant to be a game and a hoax. 80% of what we're going to come up with is absolute bullshit. It doesn't mean a damn thing. It's the other 15 to 20% where it's up to me to verify why it's relevant to our tour, the story, the person I was talking about, something going on with us, so forth and so on. When I said that the word toilet came up because somebody went to the bathroom, this is where it came up. Just so you know. It's going to save all those words to a list for us, and you guys are going to get that list back. So this is from my tour that I just did. We're going to clear them out because I've already emailed it to myself so I can give it to them, and you guys are going to get your own list. Now, the 80% that I think is BS, you're going to get that full list because sometimes there's things in there that are relatable to you that I don't know about. I got a text message a few months after a tour that says, hey, I found this in the list. And I was like, okay, what'd you find? It said cat radar. Okay, what does that mean? I don't have any relevance to my stories for that. My cat's name is Radar.
And she must have said that throughout.
No, it was just something, maybe a spirit that she brought with her that knew that her cat was Radar.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Happens all the time. All the time. So I get my email and text messages, they blow up all the time. I mean, you gotta imagine, I'm open 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
You can imagine how many people I talk to.
Sure.
So, that's one thing I'm gonna use.
But you want to hear us come back?
What do you mean?
You want us to text you and go, hey, listen, what I found?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not gonna go through all 5 hours of your data.
Right.
I'm gonna skim through it in some of the hot spots only. And
Yeah.
then I'm gonna give you a list of markers of listening or watching.
Right.
And then if you find your own stuff, by all means.
You want to know?
Yeah, send me an email.
Okay.
Give me the list. So I'm also going to use a reverse spirit box. So what the heck is a reverse spirit box? They said that it was FM radio stations being played backwards, which makes it sound like gibberish. I'm a communications major. That's impossible. You cannot take live FM signals and flip it backwards in real time. So what did I do? I put it in my software and I flip it forwards. I want to know what it says. It's literally just a man and a woman saying random words, and I don't know how long the loop is. So again, it sounds like complete gibberish. I'm going to turn it on just so you guys can get a gist of what it sounds like. There'll be times where we kind of separate by a few feet, where I'm using my spirit box and you're using yours, so that way we don't listen to each other. And you're going to be able to hear this on the regular audio because it doesn't record on my phone. So let me go ahead and turn this up, and that way you guys can get a gist of what it sounds like. So if I get a direct answer out of that, and I can hear it, which I've gotten in the past, then obviously we have something intelligent with us, and I'm going to keep going. So for example, I heard, this was back over the summer, I heard the term baked beans breakfast in real time. I had no clue what it meant, but your spirit box the next morning when I was going through it said, I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and that word list gave me the word tea. I now have a full sentence of I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and tea. That's a breakfast in the UK. I was talking about Eliza Pinckney, who was originally from England. So take that for what it is. I mean, again, you can't make this stuff up. It is what it is.
Interesting.
So those are the things I'm going to be using on my phone.
Okay.
Of course, we start here because it's haunted. You know, you guys were leaning on a haunted building.
She was.
So this place
Well,
used...
it was spooky enough, so yes.
Well, they're renovating it, and I don't know how much of this story is actually going to stick because with the renovations, things change. But this place used to be called Big John's. Big John was a football player for the 1947 Giants. So whenever I'm telling you guys stories, there are also clue words in there. So New York Giants, 1947, John Kennedy, like those are all key words that we can be listening for when I'm listening to your spirit box recording. So if any of those things come up on my spirit box or yours, we obviously have something relevant going on. So kind of keep that in mind. So Big John used to sit in the back of this bar, and he would nod to the bartender if the cadets that were coming over, if they were of age or not to drink. And one night 2 guys came in, John knows they're not old enough, tells the bartender to get them out of there. So the bartender tells them to leave, they get mad, they come back the next night and try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. They get into a little rough and tumble, start beating each other up on the floor. A couple of shots were fired, and John gets shot in the neck. And that bullet ricocheted and goes into the wall. And John gets up after pounding this guy into the floor, looks at the bartender and says, "Get me another drink and go get him an ambulance." John's the one that got shot. So nobody died in that story. So what's haunting the place? The bullet hole is still here. I don't know with the renovations. They say that people that sit in the front of the bar can start to not feel well. Dizzy, nauseous, headaches, those kind of things. So I bring the story up on purpose, because if any of you are feeling any of those things throughout the tour, which has happened, you have to let me know. That's not a scare tactic, it's a health hazard. So I've had people pass out, I've had people just say, no, I can't do anymore. It just depends on the night. So again, please bring it up if you have the slightest headache. We'll move on. Okay, it's that's serious. It says answer them. You guys have a question?
I do not.
Okay, I'm always going to try to relate something to whatever comes up on my screen. All right, so let's get our minds off of our own health. We had a big earthquake here in 1886. Did you guys hear that from your carriage ride?
Yes.
Okay, so you've probably seen all the earthquake bolts and all. They probably pointed all that stuff out, right? But this allegedly is where the first death occurred. I don't have any proof of that, but the mantle that's above also wraps around the front of the building. Apparently a piece of it broke off during the earthquake, struck somebody in the head, and that's what killed him. I don't know the guy's name. I can't verify that it is an actual true story. I just need something to take your minds off that you could get sick on this tour. So, we're going to go. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Are you excited?
Yes.
You seem a little bit more excited now.
I am.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
It'll be fun to listen to it together and go, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's head this
All
way.
right.
Let's see what we can go catch.
I watch people on YouTube doing the same exact thing, so it's kind of cool.
So, the people on YouTube,
I don't believe it, and I don't.
So, part of the reason why I don't do things like put my investigation on video and stuff like that, because all that stuff can be rigged. You know, these people don't know me from Adam. That's why I'd rather teach. So my YouTube videos I'm about to start are all about using the equipment and kind of reviews of the equipment. It's not, you know, my investigations or, you know, on video or anything like that. But the podcast and the blog is putting the evidence out there. It's not for me to interpret, it's for them to interpret. So I tell them, hey, here's what happened. You tell me what you think. You know, I'm not saying it is or it isn't. It's a matter of give me your thoughts and comments. You know, raising awareness. So, where are we? This is the big red barn lot. This is where I got my example about the question. So, the only history I had, well, first off, this is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. Okay, so the horses are still in there. We're not going to be too loud with the spirit box because they don't like white noise. They will get spooked and kick. So if you want to get scared, by all means, scare the hell out of them. But please don't. The only history I have on this building is that it used to be the same building where we kept horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So there's a couple of clues for you. But I'm going to teach you how to use that spirit box a little bit further. This is not TV. This is not Bobby, why'd you kill Joey kind of thing, okay? We're going to stay away from yes or no questions. That's the first rule. Why? Is somebody here? No. Well, first off, that means somebody's here. They answered you. Second, they said the word houses, and you think you heard yes. S and O in our phonetic English language, two of the most common sounds that we have. So we're going to just stay away from yes and no questions. They're too easy to interpret into something we want. So we're going to ask questions that we know the answers to here. The next place, you're not going to know the answers. Hopefully you find them through your spirit box. So what color is the barn?
Red.
Red, okay? There's no deviating away from that, right? It's not purple, green, blue, whatever. So we're going to ask when you go through and we kind of separate, because we are going to separate in this lot so you guys get used to your devices. You're going to ask what color the barn is. See if somebody answers you. You're going to wait about 30 seconds or so and listen to your spirit box. Listen to those signals. If anything comes up where it says red or something, a clue around red, like barn, you know, then, okay, we got somebody. They're trying to talk to us. If you don't get an answer, ask again. Give them time to muster up that energy. Got to give them a little bit of time. And that answer can come up at the end of the tour. I don't know. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes the signals get mixed and I'm in one location, I'm getting answers from another one I've already been at. It happens all the time. They're getting the energy to follow us around and say, I know it's red, I know it's red, I need to tell you. So it happens. So kind of keep in mind the questions you're going to ask throughout the night. In the event that 3, 4, 5 times that you try and you get no answer of red, try another question. What's inside the barn? Now we've just opened it up. I told you about the horses, but they're also animals. They're draft horses. They delivered milk. I got in the word calcium before. Obviously, what's inside the barn? Calcium. That makes sense. They delivered milk. So those are clues that I have to put together. Okay, they're trying to come up with something. They're trying to talk to us. See if I can get anything further out of them. So that's the kind of mentality I want you to have when you're listening to that spirit box. And you guys can listen together. Please listen, because you're going to get a little bit more of the recording on there too. And obviously, I want to hear your commentaries. That's always funny too. I usually give the camera to a skeptic because their commentary throughout the night is hysterical to me. Absolutely hysterical. So even like the small bit of bad reviews I've gotten are hysterical. It's like if you were truly a non-believer and you were expecting me, I do have a great conversion rate, by the way. If you really wanted me to convert you, you need to come on a different type of investigation. This is for fun, it's entertainment, and to prove to you that this stuff actually does exist and how to do it. So with your thermal imaging camera, so let's talk about that for a second before I send you guys off. So go ahead and point it straight at this wall for me and tell me what you see. Your hand's right over the camera. There you go. It's that attachment at the bottom.
Okay. It is red and
all
blue.
Red, right? So watch what happens when I get in a picture. Hold it still. See how it fluctuated with my skin? So my skin is going to be the warmest thing out here, okay? Or your skin or your skin. So what you want to try to do is keep somebody in focus at all times. Here's why. So let me bring up this video real quick. This is something I caught with that camera. Let me bring it up. Of course. My phone updated the other day. Anybody else get an Android update that they hate?
No.
Oh, it's horrible.
We're iPhone.
Ugh. I sensed that, but I didn't want to say anything. Is that bad of me? So my wife during the daytime, like her day job, she is a cell phone manager for Best Buy. Her degree is in photography, so she does all of my graphics and things like that for me. But anyway, she knows all of the different phones. So this is our next location that we're going to. We don't want that. Where did it go? Okay, so let's play. Oh, too far. So this is a wall right here. See the two living people? That's not exciting. I'm just giving you a point of reference. See the two heads that were above that wall? Okay, so we're going to fast forward a little bit. And, well, not too far. So this guy, there's going to be a guy right here, and his skin is going to be in the picture. You're going to see two dead people. 1, 2. Did you see him go by?
Yeah.
2 different temperatures. They should have been the same temperature.
Oh, yeah.
The other person was black, the coldest area on there.
Right.
Not black as a race, black as a temperature, which to me is the coldest thing. So again, give you that point of view. Guys right here, you're going to see 2 dead people. 1, 2. I've handed this video off to firemen and mechanics that use that as a tool every day in their jobs, and they can't figure it out either. So they say you got obviously some great evidence there. So take it for what it's worth. That's why you want to try to keep a person in view at all times. I know it's going to be hard with just the 3 of us, especially when we separate a little bit here. But you guys are literally just going to kind of walk around here. We're going to only spend like 5 minutes here, just so you guys get used to listening to that on your own, asking your own questions. It gets a little weird when the teacher's watching you. So that's why I like this spot, because there's not a whole lot of history and you get used to your gadgets. So designing this tour, this was a major part because I needed something else to give you a little bit more hands-on experience. So I'm going to be doing my own thing with my spirit boxes and running. So again, go walk around, have some fun, but stay within this parking lot. So yeah, go ahead and turn it up. Again, if you get too close to that wall over there where all of those open windows are, just keep the spirit box audible to you. So don't make it too loud. So, but make it loud enough so you can hear it. That should be perfect right there.
Put the 2 ears.
There you go. Well, I want you to hear it too. That kind of helps verify what's going on. But yeah, go wander.
All right.
If you see smoke, I'm a vapor, so I'm going to be vaping back in the car. I hate saying vapor because it sounds like something else.
Vapor.
So easy. So what color is the barn? What color is the barn? What's in the barn? bed is it? Are you seeing anything? Or you're supposed to keep me in the picture a little bit, huh?
Yes.
What color is the barn? My hand's cold. Where's the horses tonight?
Alright, we hearing anything out of there? Did you hear anything out of there yet?
No.
Okay. Again, not everybody can hear it clearly, so and that's perfectly fine. So I mean, we're gonna keep trying throughout the rest of the night with the different locations, and you'll get used to how it skips through. And even if you guys want to swap, that's fine too. You guys are in the same household. I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Usually I just say keep the gadgets within your party, but you're the only party.
Okay.
So I did hear. When I'm here, I go after different questions that you don't know I'm asking. That way, if the answers come to, they can go anywhere. They can go to your audio, my audio,
Sure,
or either
yeah.
spirit box. So I asked if there was somebody here that played with Big John, give me your jersey number or tell me your first name. I heard 7 and then 0. Do I know who number 70 was? I'm not a football guy, especially from 1947. I got to look it up. So did I get a first name? I did not. So again, I have a number. Numbers don't lie. Colors don't lie either. Those are pretty easy questions because you can prove those things. Obviously, a red barn is a red barn. Number 70, hopefully, is somebody on that team, and hopefully I hear a name on there that might be in correlation with that. So again, when I ask a question, I'm waiting for you to turn around and say, I heard 70. Oh, actually, 70 relates to our next story too. So we'll kind of go along with that. Maybe it's part of that. I don't know. We'll see what comes up out of the rest of our recordings. So do you have the gist of how that thing's going to fluctuate?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, if I ask questions, would it pop up there?
It
maybe,
could.
Sort of?
Could go anywhere. So the words that I got, because I mean we're going to constantly correlate like this.
Oh,
So I got peasant, port, raw. Faith came up over there, over when we were by the bar. So any of those words mean anything to you? Of questions you may have asked? Okay. I didn't think so. So I'm going to pretty much consider all 80. So far, it's 100% bullshit. So, sorry for the language. It's the only way to explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go on some real history now that you guys have it just to your gadgets.
Okay.
So is this what you thought you were getting yourself into? She's
Nope.
like, nope. I didn't know I was going to be working.
Doesn't
I
matter
was kind
though.
of hoping it was going to be like this.
Yeah, see, she had looked at stuff, but no, I'm game for anything, so.
So my bag is chock full of gizmos and gadgets. I got lasers in there. I got different thermometers to verify what's going on with the cameras. What else do I have in there?
There's dowsing rods.
I don't use dowsing
You
rods.
trust
If you
it?
notice, everything I use is electronic.
Uh-huh.
Because to me, dowsing rods can be manipulated by the user, and I'm after truth and not a gimmick. So we're gonna make it right into this parking lot.
Usually
Now,
that's a yes and no questions too, right?
so I've never used them because I don't want to be the manipulator.
Yeah.
And I'm not a very skilled person with epilepsy. so it's not something that I can probably use.
So, why is Savannah and Charleston ghost? Everybody has ghost town.
So there are certain towns that you'll realize that actually they kind of welcome and they embrace their culture. And they realize that with that culture and the rich history that we have here, that, I mean, Charleston doesn't welcome it as much as Savannah. Savannah, it's all about the ghosts. With Charleston, it's about ghost tours. Now, I'm the only guy in town that does anything remote like this.
Okay.
Okay, so the other ghost tours that you will see, it's people telling stories on a street corner. And it's mostly history.
Yeah.
They just do it at night and make it a ghost story.
Right.
And with me, obviously you're getting a little bit of information
Exactly,
to try to find
yeah.
more.
Way more fun than just riding on a bus and plopping down
Not
into
to mention,
each
there's
site.
20 people in there and you can barely hear your guide.
Yeah.
So again, that's the difference. Now, as far as cities like ours, there's a ton of history here. In Charleston, the reason why this is called Stories in a Cemetery, we're only going to go and look at one cemetery. That's
Okay.
it. Because Charleston is one big cemetery. We've had enough fires here, earthquakes, war, you name it. We've got so much death here. We're always walking on somebody dead. So I know I don't take you guys to the prettiest sites. We just looked at 2 parking lots. But there's a lot of history here that nobody talks about. This is part of the reason why I do this. You're also going to hear stories from me that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Because there's nothing to look at. The other tours are more sightseeing than what I do.
Right,
okay?
you did that on the carriage one anyway. We saw the graveyard, so there you go.
Right. So, and did you guys hear like the stories of Edgar Allan Poe and Annabelle Lee and all that stuff?
Oh, he talked about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Really, when she even said, I don't know any of those people. I said, I don't either. You know, I wasn't a very good history student, so I don't remember any of that stuff.
So, I mean, I'll kind of like touch on some of the popular areas towards the end of our experience here. But with this location, this is home to Eliza and Charles Pinckney, which is a very big deal. Like, we started, I don't know if you noticed, but it was the corner of Pinckney and East Bay Street. Because Pinckney is a prominent name here. So, Eliza Pinckney and Charles Pinckney had, well, I mean, I guess where should I start here? So, the baked beans breakfast, that started here. Eliza's from England. Her dad thought he was dying, and she didn't want to go home to go visit because she didn't believe it. He wanted all his kids home, she didn't go. So instead, she got married at a very young age, hopefully you can find out what that age was, to Charles Pinckney. It didn't give her citizenship because it was colonial times, but it pretty much solidified she's not going anywhere. So with that being said, Dad got better. He starts sending gifts over from England. One of those gifts happened to be indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. You're wearing it right now. It started here for the United States. So it started, like, we're standing where the mansion would have been. That left tree over there is where her garden would be, all the way across. And then the slaves and servant quarters would have been in the back. So that kind of gives you a layout. So indigo became a huge cash crop because our rice plantations were going downhill. We needed something else to save Charleston. And you gotta remember, there's only 13 colonies. We needed something to save the United States. So we weren't in the United States yet, but you get my point. So she used her dad's contacts to start selling this indigo overseas. It became a huge thing. So if you think of all your royal people over in European countries, most royal colors are blue. They're made from indigo. So take that for what it is. Very expensive way to do it, but we still use it. So there's a lot of weird things about Eliza. Eliza, first off, was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So she goes by her maiden name. So we're going to try to find out what her maiden name was, not the middle name. A lot of people confuse that. Sorry, most kids do. And you're a kid to me. I know I probably don't look much older than you, but I am. I'm actually double your age. So I actually have a daughter almost as old as you, believe it or not. So a lot of people question me on that. How old are you, 12? I'm like, no, I'm not older than that. But anyway, so where was I? I lost track. The second wife named Eliza. So maiden name. There you go. You got it confused. So they both start with L. I'll give you that. So you're looking for both wives that went by Eliza blank Pinckney. So if you say, can you tell me what your maiden name was, and you hear an L name, hopefully that's the right one. And if it is one of the two, then we know who we're talking to. So you can ask anything about the mansion, like what happened to it, you know, how big was it, whatever, things that I can prove. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death, how old she was. I kind of gave you that clue back there. She was 70. So I was like, oh shit, maybe it was actually that. Maybe she's already crossed, like I told you, it could be in different places. So you can ask where she died, how she died, where is she buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So if that tells you how important she was to the colonies, we're talking about a businesswoman, by the way, in colonial times, where there wasn't a thing of a businesswoman. It was run by men. So that's one of the reasons I like talking about her, because she is done, and I'm only scraping the surface of things that she's done. So it's just enough so that you guys have some fun with the gadgets. If something comes up where I didn't know about, for example, the pallbearer, I didn't even know about that when I just learned about that a few months ago because of the tours. The name came up twice in 1 week, and I'm like, maybe there's some relevance there. And looked it up, lo and behold, there it was. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So hopefully that comes up for you guys tonight, and we can actually get some solid evidence. But the only thing I'm gonna ask is you don't ask questions about her children. There's a tragedy there, and it will pretty much end all of our data. So kind of take that for what it's worth. Just so you guys know, I have an EMF meter too. You probably know what that is because you watch the shows. An EMF meter measures electromagnetic fields, so it's kind of electricity. So it'll measure like things coming off of our TV or, wires in the wall, parking meters, those kind of things. But if it's something that's going erratic, because things that are man-made will give off a pulse. So kind of take that in perception. I normally have it out even with a party of 3. I'm sorry I didn't pull it out. But there's a light back there that's blinking. And it's not the one that's blinking big on the wall. It's the little spotlight back there right above it. And it's not always blinking. But when it is, it's usually in sync with that EMF meter because it goes crazy here. There's nothing underneath us. They've never done a geological dig here. Or archaeological, sorry. But there's no wires here. There's no anything. There's no reason for that thing to go off. And this place has let me down a few times where it didn't do anything. But most nights, it's going nuts. So hopefully, that's usually my barometer when that light is blinking like that of how much activity we're going to get. It's kind of light, so I don't know how much we're going to get. It's probably going to be light. Hopefully we get something out of it, because this is, if I were to have a grand finale, this would be it. So, have some fun with your camera. We are in a place where there's vehicles. People are going to be in and out of here. They don't like their cars being filmed. They don't know what that is. I've been screamed at plenty of times. I don't need you screamed at. So just, if you see somebody walking through or passing through, hold it just like you are now. It's just a phone. So that's kind of how that goes. People are going to ask if what you're doing with your ghost hunting. Are you ghost hunting? Yes, go talk to him. It was funny. Most tour guides don't like me because I take business from them. And again, I don't work for anybody.
Yeah.
So, I just had one guy stop me at the end of my last tour, and he's like, "Are you guys ghost hunting?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Nick with Stories in the Cemetery." He's like, "Hi, man, I'm Josh." He's like, "This is so cool." He had a team behind him, and they were all like, "What's going on?" Because I raise attention. I got gizmos and gadgets and all these different lights.
And everybody if you got more people, everybody's got to get.
So I'm already, this thing is giving me a whole slew of words, so maybe something good will come through out of that. But yeah, go explore, stay within the lot.
So when you get that list, the first ones is going to say probably what we've asked the first. So that list, this one is going to be the top of the list saying
correct.
That was probably something at the beginning of the tour, and then these are the next.
Well, what's nice is it gives you a timestamp.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So you have to remember, when I'm going through your data, everything is timestamped. That's why I record from multiple angles. So I start with the audio recording because this is my main source. I know after how many minutes I started that camera, and then how many minutes did I start your S-Box, and then how many times, you know what I'm saying? I know what time things start to go. But this is kind of my main source. I only refer to this if I need to sync something up, like I did with the baked beans breakfast thing. And by the way, this is also where that video came from. So if that tells you how much activity I get out of here, and it was actually up in that corner. So if there's no cars up there, hopefully you guys see something or get something. And the reason why I went up there to begin with is because the team I was with said that they saw a shadow. So I'm up there debunking, you guys saw a car go by, or somebody flashing their light. And then all of a sudden I watched the video the next morning, and that's when I got those 2 dead people walking by. I'm like, oh shit, they did see something. So, but it is what it is. But yeah, definitely walk around, have some fun. Do you have questions? You're so quiet.
No.
She's a teen. They don't have questions.
She's
She has no teen.
She told me you were 23.
I am.
But she's quiet. She's a quiet girl.
So my wife was funny because she was texting me at the same time you were. And then because I was delaying her, and she knows if I'm delayed, I'm doing something with the dogs or with the tours or whatever. So when she got home, she's like, how many customers were you on the phone with today? She's like, you were kind of late with text. I was like, my phone's been blowing up. So she picks up my phone, and I don't hide anything from her. And she's like, why are you getting pictures of young girls? I'm like, I don't know.
She said, you sent a picture to us? And I said, yeah, because you know, I don't want to say, well, no, I told her you weren't scared. So I wanted him to be prepared.
I will tell you that my wife is phenomenal. Like, she is one of those women, like, I can put my phone down and not worry about anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's not one of those people, like, if it is laying around, she's not going to go through it. It just, she happened to see when I'm flipping through the other text with another customer. She's like, what's the picture? Here. I don't know why she sent it. She's like, she said it, she's 23. I'm like, she's half your age. I'm like, I know. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
So, it was funny.
I'm very community, you know, I love everybody, you know, so I'm like, well, here, this is who you're going to be spending 2 hours.
It was actually a nice reference for when I walked up. So when I see the two sets of eyes that I see in the picture, I'm like, there they are.
Exactly, yeah. So it's always just who you're expecting to see, I guess. I sell a lot online. Mm-hmm. That's part of my job.
What do you do?
On Marketplace. I make ugly Christmas sweaters. So I actually went viral in 2014.
Get out of here.
I went to New York. Meredith Vieira flew me out. I was on the Daily News. 2018, I did a big, so I've done ugly sweaters that I've always sold, thrifted, flipped. Yeah, that was so every time I sell something, I go back to Facebook to see who I'm going to deal with. You know, who's coming to my door.
I do that a lot too.
Where I'm meeting, whatever. So
especially if somebody's, because I mean, my Facebook to me is a big marketing platform. I get a lot of customers that ask questions and so forth and so on. So I mean, I'm on text all day long. I mean, people are blowing up my phone now, and I just can't answer.
Well, I put my Marketplace. My boyfriend and I, we flip stuff all the time. And I said I have to put it on hold. My phone's just bing, bing, bing. And so they changed it to a vacation mode. And I said, this weekend we're selling nothing because I'm on vacation because I can't sell anything anyway.
So I just met a guy. Now, one of my hobbies is puzzles. Obviously, for what I do for a living, I love puzzles. And I love to frame them. And I like to find weird stuff that's relevant, and everything's themed in my house. I'm a writer, so I have like Stephen King, Edgar Allan Poe. Like, my wife makes me puzzles for Christmas. So I found that I needed a table because I'm taking up the dining room table. The wife's a little angry. Can you put them somewhere else? Whatever. So I said, I'll just go buy a table. So I'm digging through Marketplace. I found a beautiful table that matched my office for when we move, and everything's in one spot. And it's gorgeous. It's in great shape. I go meet the guy, and he's asked me about my job. You know, just making chit chatter. Of course, I'm interesting to everybody. I hate to say it like that, but I am. So we're talking. I was like, well, how do you get into this? He's like, I actually buy storage units. He's like, I flip them. He's like, this came in a storage unit. I don't know what they paid for it. It's yours for $40. I'll help you load it. Here's cash. Have a nice day.
I know. Yeah.
And it was like this guy's in this storage place he had was just giant, and it just filled with stuff.
Well, and that you definitely, when you do that kind of stuff, you definitely have to have an outlet. Get rid of the stuff.
Right.
You know, we just go to garage sales. We actually go around and curb at garbage nights. We find things people fight over for $200. We got it free on the curb the night before. And he's like, I turned him on to this. You know, he'd go to garage sales and he's like, this is the easiest money. I said, I know. It is the easiest money.
So before I started doing this, I was actually in retail management for over 20 years. I mean, I was making well over 6 figures. Like, I was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And I walked away to do this.
Yeah.
So I sell books. I do the tours. The podcast and the website are all monetized. So I mean, I got like 15 different streams of income coming in. The wife's like, I can't believe you're actually hand over fist. And I just pretty much took over the business. I was attached to somebody else and left. Because I was like, why am I giving him a percentage? So it's all mine. And again, she's like, I can't believe it's taking off the way that it's taking off.
Yeah.
You know, even, don't get me wrong, I mean, 2 people, I'm glad to be doing what I'm doing.
Right.
I mean,
there's something to be said about just being happy.
I mean, she's way too quiet for me, but whatever.
Well, I'm just...
She's like, I'm not a flipper. I don't want to talk about the curb.
I hear about it all the time.
I told her, I said, I'll try not to embarrass you this weekend because I am a Gabby.
Are you working? Or do you go to school?
School. Well, I graduated and then I work.
Both of my girls, they work full-time. They are 100% independent. So they work full-time. They go to school full-time. She just graduated a 4-year.
What did you graduate with?
Health sciences.
Okay.
So physical therapy.
Nice.
So yeah. So this is her part of her graduation, or her graduation present is going on a little vacation.
Sure.
So yeah.
I graduate with my master's degree in August, and hopefully I'll be accepted into my PhD program in September. So my PhD program is in creativity, where I'm allowed to pick my own dissertation and write X amount of books during that.
Word. Yeah.
So obviously I'm picking the paranormal, and all of the data you guys are recording is going towards my application.
Yeah.
So I have to have so many hours in of what I do for a living to be able to concentrate on that focus. I'll probably have to go overseas to meet up with, pro paranormal investigators and things like that.
Yeah.
But when I'm done, I will literally be a doctor of ghosts. So I have 2 bachelor degrees, one in communications and journalism, and the other one is in English. And my master's degree is a MFA in creative writing. So again, highly educated. I love what I do. Happiest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Kids are almost grown. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Life is awesome.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm in parking lots with y'all.
Yeah. I get it. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Look at that. It says Pulse. All right, you guys go listen. Go find some good evidence. I'm going to do my thing over here. I'll stay in this box.
I was kind of hoping that, like, our conversation would them saying, like, chime in, and maybe What was her name? Tiffany? That was the last name.
Elliot? No, Elliot.
What was your first name? Honestly. Fingers are still.
I brought with me, and I got the word teenage. She thinks you're a teenager, just like what we were talking about. I asked to give me a name of somebody who's with her, and oh, this was cool too. So on the reverse spirit box, I heard "not with me," like very clear. Like I said, tell me the name of somebody who might be with you. Not with me, meaning she's alone. So I'm like, all right, cool. Then tell me how many people I brought with me. Teenage. So I mean, a lot of really cool stuff you guys are going to be able to listen to when you get back. Did you hear anything on your spirit box?
I just switched it, but I'm still only just hearing scratchy.
Okay.
That.
That's perfectly fine.
You know.
All right. So because it was recording while we were talking anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move us along. So we're gonna go up the block up the street about 4 blocks.
Okay.
And if you're gonna listen to your spirit box along the way, with just the 3 of us, it's kind of hard to do because we're probably gonna be talking and chatting. We're listening for names, and the names are prominent to the location we're going to. And I'll tell you why when we get there, and I don't want to give you suggestive thoughts of what that name might be. So that's kind of the gist here. So I was hoping that you would have heard the number 2 on the spirit box, or I asked who's with the teenage girl. Sorry, I kept referring to you as a teenager. And I was waiting for mom, mother, something along those lines of what would have been a term in colonial times. Mommy wouldn't have been a thing. Mom probably wouldn't have been a thing. It would have been mother. Mm-hmm. So I was listening for mother, those kind of things. So hopefully I can find that on your spirit box that I got a direct answer, since she recognized you as a teenage girl who just graduated college.
I mean, I'll take it if I look teenage.
I still get carded for milk. Don't feel bad.
Now, would they say anything about our conversation that we had by flipping and stuff like that? Okay.
Now, it's not going to, like, the electronic device is not going to pick up on that. It's not going to listen to us and say, oh, they were talking about teenage stuff. Or the fact that woman on my last tour asked me about a bathroom and it said toilet. It's just telling me that, hey, we see what you're doing. We're here. We're watching. So when I ask who's with me, or how many people that I bring with me, and it says teenage, that's 1 out of 2 of you. So hopefully mother is on the other one, or we get an audible from the recording on the video or my audio where I just missed mother or mom or something along those lines. So again, it's not going to listen to us. It's just telling us, it's the spirit using that device as, hey, did you guys see Transformers? Or Bumblebee talk through the radio? It's the same principle. Even with my spirit box with the word list, it's only gonna give me words that are gonna make sense. So again, the 80% bullshit is because it's meant to be a game and a hoax. Right. So yeah, let's go up to Lodge Alley and see what we can find there. Sorry, my hands are cold.
Oh, mine too. And and I was gonna bring gloves just for the trip, and I decided against it. But I probably wouldn't have brought them tonight anyway.
And watch your step. I always have people trip on that one. But yeah, I always look at the temperature, because normally below 45 degrees, I don't get any bookings. So I was kind of like, okay, it's going to be 39. Well,
and that meant nothing to me. I just...
Oh yeah, you're on vacation.
Right, exactly, yeah. No locals would have...
But yeah, below 45, like, I can watch it all day. Nothing's going to happen. But usually, like a lot of times, if it's below 45 and I can see that like long in advance, I'll just cancel it. Because I know, I mean, there's no way I'm wasting my time watching my phone all day.
Sure.
Look at that, we got the walk right away. Cool. What's nice too is with smaller groups, I can walk pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, not that I want to get through a tour quick, it just means we can spend more time at the location.
Right.
My last tour was a group of 6, so it was a little slower.
Well, and I said, do you want to do the 7 or 9? She goes, well, we need the full effect. The later, the spookier, the better.
Not necessarily. When I do my own investigations, it's during the daytime. I'm a tourist just like you guys.
Yeah.
So the spirit box she's using just goes on mute, record, and in my pocket. That's in my cargo pocket with just a video camera hanging out, so nobody knows that it's there. I have the EMF meter in my other pocket, and my phone is doing its thing on the clip. So that way I can enjoy the whatever location.
Right.
Yeah, my first tour, I even debated bringing my coat. Dropped like a good 8 degrees. That means it's
no, it's still early. It's still prelim.
Yeah.
Now, do you live far from here?
I live in Somerville, which is about 25 miles from here.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's about a 30-minute ride.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to move further out. So we're building a house out in a place called Cane Bay. So it'll be about a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
So where did you guys park, or where are you staying?
Days in.
Days in. That is up on by Marion Square. By Meeting Street. Meeting in Calhoun.
Right by county or the market. Right by the market, just a block south of the market. Yeah. This way from the market there.
So we're actually going to end on this street right here, up there. So I just like to be able to give you a point of reference of where you're going to be.
Yep. We'll just Google ourselves back home.
There's certain neighborhoods you don't want to walk through.
Probably. Well,
Saturday night.
on that corner was kind of one of those places.
Yeah, you get a lot of homeless over there.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere up there. We get some down here too, just not many.
I see we're in the nightlight bar section, huh?
Yeah, we don't have much of one really. I'm not a drinker and I don't eat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, oh, there's Magnolia's. Okay, so we.
Yep. We're gonna make it right down that alley just before it. I don't know how much they pointed out on your carriage tours, so I'd like to take it to places that you hopefully didn't see yet.
You're right.
Let's kind of right down here. Nice and creepy. Smells good.
Well, I guess Magnolia's is supposed to be very good. There's two groups that we're gonna go to Magnolia's tonight for dinner.
Magnolia's is usually a must-stop for tourists.
Oh, gotcha.
So.
Oh, we didn't stop. We missed it.
Well, you don't
Another day.
drop $60 on a plate anyway.
You know, I think food is such a waste of money.
That's why I don't eat out.
Yeah.
And what's funny is when my tours are slow, I drive for Uber Eats.
Yeah.
I gotta keep things moving. So
Yeah.
if tours are slow, I just drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I gotta make my money and pay the bills too.
Yeah.
Again, leaving a 6-figure salary, you gotta try to make ends meet. Right past this doorway, kind of tell you what's going on in this place. Did you hear anything?
No.
I noticed you had it up to your ear. I need to tell people they could bring headphones to that if they want to. I don't want to pass them out because it's kind of weird. But this is called Lodge Alley. We're actually inside the Charlestown walls now. I'm sure you heard a little bit about the original 4 walls that we had.
Yeah.
So when we passed the market, right up Cumberland Street was where the wall was. Okay, so this would have been just inside. This is one of the oldest streets we have in Charleston. This place, if you think about it, like the way the original Charleston was, the peninsula was much skinnier. All the stuff we have on the edges, man-made stuff. Okay, so it wasn't there. Okay, so people used to live here. So the reason why I asked you to listen for names is because I had the full list of residents of all the people that lived here. So the prominent names I normally get are Benjamin and John. They show up all the time. So I'd say about once a month, and it's usually together. Benjamin and John were 2 out of 4 residents that lived here. There was only 4 people that lived here. Benjamin and John were 2 of them in 1801. I don't find a coincidence that I get those names together in this alley or coming up to this alley once a month. So, but that stuff on the edge, the smell of low tide would have been coming through here all the time. Okay, would have been a bad place to live. These people were considered lower class. They did an geological dig. No, archaeological. Gotta get those 2 right.
Mm-hmm.
Archaeological dig in between these clay bricks that you guys are walking on. They found some of the silverware and tools, some of their clothing. They were able to consider these people lower class and did find evidence of fires down here. So like some of the clay underneath and some of the dirt kind of showed that there were some major fires that happened. So again, I get weird things down here, weird orbs with pictures, things show up in the camera that I sometimes have to stop and maybe try to explain, and it's a little tougher to do down here. I don't know why. But a lot of anomalies show up in here in pictures. So what I mean by that are orbs, they're in color, like they are bright. So it's good stuff that I get in this alley. That's why I like to bring you here. This is Lodge Alley Inn, obviously named after where we're standing. They also claim to have a ghost, as does every hotel in Charleston. So none of them give me free rooms to verify, so I'm not going to condone any of them. So take that for what it is. And I'm actually probably going to start renting rooms out this summer, just so I can do more investigations for the podcast. And that way I can do it a little bit more live action instead of hiding stuff like I do in museums and in tourist attractions. So I'll be able to hopefully get these haunted rooms throughout the summertime if I can. But yeah, this is an interesting alley for sure, and I like to show off a little bit of old bricks and cobblestone type stuff just because it is Charleston, and everybody wants to see that because they're here. At the end of this alley, we're going to be in a residential area, so please don't act like you're videotaping. People get a little weird about that. And then tour guides are only allowed to pass through neighborhoods, so we're going to be three friends just heading through a neighborhood. Of course, if you want to listen to a spirit box, by all means, do so. I'm not going to stop you, even though it is recording. I'd love to catch things in real time. But we're going to go learn like 5 or 6 stories. I can't remember how many there are up in this corner, but it's a very popular place. I'll probably have to keep my mask on the entire time. You're going to see other tours that probably still have 20 people. Who knows? Other people probably didn't book this late with the other bigger companies. So we might actually have the whole place ourselves, which would be ideal. But there's a lot going on up there, and there's one story that we're going to really fully investigate, kind of like what we did with the Pinckney Mansion site, and we're going to kind of explore a little bit, only because I need more. I had to reroute my tour, only because there's an area that I was going to that technically I wasn't supposed to be going to, so I kind of rerouted things and added purple light. You see that? The purple light on the wall?
Yeah. Oh,
I wonder if that's like somebody's TV.
I wonder.
That's weird. Okay, take it for what it is. But anyway, I rerouted the tour and I had to add a story on there that I don't know a whole lot about because the story has been misconstrued so many times. So I'm only going to give you things that I know for sure, and hopefully she'll be able to tell us more things through the spirit box and the audio pieces. That's where we're definitely going to need to do our last investigation that's really fully intact. The rest in between is kind of just some stories, some really cool stories. We may have already heard some of them. So let's take that for what it is, and let's move on.
Okay.
I like another weird that you guys are coming with me. Not the US guys. They already don't like me because they give me something. And with the citations with the masks,
Really?
there's a lot going on with that right now. At the beginning, they weren't really doing much with the giving tickets out, but now it seems like they're really cracking down because we phased back a little bit from our opening.
Okay. Yeah.
We went from phase 2 back, or from phase 3 back to phase 2. Courtney's just a sponge. She's just soaking it all in.
Well, she was watching YouTube videos that I didn't know she was watching. Or that she does. Yeah, so she knows.
Because she's listening. You see that, right? Did you recently obtain a sculpture of some sort through your flipping?
Well,
Because it came up right after the word teenage. I was like, I wonder if she picked something up that was a sculpture. But I like the word listening. Like, we're going to take that one for sure. That's kind of like toilet. I got to go potty. Yeah, you guys are going to have a lot to listen to on your trips.
Oh yeah.
So what's nice about the website is when you right-click the MP3 of the different audios, you can just download them to your phone. So that way you guys can just play through your car on the way back. Or
Right. That's what that's what we were.
So instead of keeping the website up so you can listen to it, just download it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could do that with iPhones, but I'm pretty sure you can.
She would be the
That's
master
why I
at
told
that.
her. No
Yep.
offense.
Nope. Not at all. None taken.
Technology. Even though
None
I seem pretty
taken.
savvy with it because it's my job.
Yeah.
I usually go to the younger person and say, hey, this is
Yeah.
how you're going to do this.
Yep. How do fix this?
You're leaving tomorrow, but this is the prettiest spot in all of Charleston, day or night. It's called Philadelphia House. So if you guys are going to do anything tomorrow, make sure you wander through here.
Oh yeah.
This is where I got kicked out of, just so you know.
Oh.
There's a great story there. California. That's quite the haul, huh? Jeez. Take a plane, buddy.
Yeah. Not yet.
So our parking meters used to be free after 6.
Oh.
When COVID hit.
Okay.
So when the first of the year came, I'm like, man, I gotta pay a garage now.
Oh.
So my garage is right down the street. So I'm like, that's perfect for where I am.
Yeah.
That's I mentioned it was the cheapest one in town. Oh, cool. We got the whole corner to ourselves. Cool. There's a lot going on up here. We're 1,000. How did you guys find me again?
Groupon. Yeah, that's kind of, well, when I was home, I was that just kind of gives me an idea of what to do. And so I had here, but then we also had one in Savannah.
Yeah.
So actually, but I hadn't booked anything. And so when we were looking for stuff to do, she goes, what? And I said, well, we can do it tonight. And then when we're at Savannah, we'll do something else, you know.
There's a ton of good stuff in Savannah.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have, like, the apps that I use. They're all going to be at the top of your data page. Download a few. They're all available through both Play Store and the iTunes Store.
Oh, really?
Play around with them when you're on your tours. So just something extra to give it a little bit more oomph.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a sign right there. It says the only ghost of St. Philip's is the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. 1888, there was a young lady named Sue Howard Hardy that died 10 days after her stillborn child. Now, 1987, 99 years later, we have a local photographer taking pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries. He finds a full apparition of a woman wearing a shawl and a baby basket next to her. It's 1987. There's no Photoshop, cell phones, all that stuff. He sends it over to Kodak. Kodak can't debunk the picture. Now, some tour guides show the picture on their tours. I'm not going to do that. You can imagine I'm very superstitious. Females that hold it start to get the same symptoms I told you about back at Big John's. We're not going to go through that. Women that are pregnant don't have a good pregnancy. I don't want anybody calling me 9 months later saying, you cursed my baby.
Wow.
That's not going to be me. So if you want to look it up, her name was Sue Howard Hardy. Just don't hold it on your phone. Just look at it on a computer screen. It's a really cool picture. It's probably one of the best I've ever seen. Like, it's really good. So that's the reason for this. This is the story that everybody tells when they come up here. This is honestly the biggest hotspot for all the ghost tours because it's St. Philip's. So St. Philip's has a lot of ties, but I don't like to tie this area up. So we're actually going to go across the street so I can show you all the other points of the corner of what's going on.
Oh, there's another one over there. Another cemetery or graveyard?
Actually, there's an east and a west side. So the side we were just looking at is for native Charlestonians only. This side is for everybody else. John Calhoun is on this side. He's not from here. So they moved his sarcophagus several times trying to figure out if he was from here or not. So you can actually visit it during the daytime. The gate's unlocked, you can walk through it. Let's walk a little bit further over this way just so we can stay out of harm's way. Just past this cemetery, on the other side of that, is a house called the Pirate House. It's where Blackbeard's men used to come off their ships and go catch a drink, meet with a few girls, and then they dug a tunnel from the Pirate House over to Dock Street Theater underground so they can go sneak a show. Now, Dock Street Theater, St. Philip's, it all has a tie. So that's the reason why I kind of tell this story that way. There was a young lady that worked at the church named Nettie Dickerson. Now, Dock Street Theater, this used to be Dock Street. It's now Church Street because the church was the only building that couldn't move when they widened the road, so they went around it. So if you look at it on Google Maps, it literally has a half moon on it. So, but anyway, Dock Street Theater was the original theater, and then a hotel called Planters, and then we turned it back into Dock Street Theater. This was during the time when it was Planters. So Nettie Dickerson was past the marrying age of 17. She was 23 years old. Nobody wanted her. So she sees all the prostitution going on down at Planters, and she decides she's going to go down there and get herself a job. So she puts on her best red dress, she gets herself a job, but she's the best loved girl in the whole place. She's still not happy. It's not what she thought it was going to be. So she used to go out to the second-story balcony and think about coming back to the church, because you can see it from there. I've tested it. So priest sees that one night. He goes over, he's talking to her about coming back to the church instead of being a prostitute, and a storm rolls in, and lightning strikes the wrought iron banister that she's leaning on, strikes her dead. Now, very abrupt story. I know I ended it quickly, but they say you can see her ghost from the knees up only. Why is that? Because when we went from Planters back to Dock Street, we raised that first floor ceiling. So she's walking on the floor that she knows. It took a nerd like me to do the investigation and go, why the hell would I have such a short ghost? Then he did the building research and figured out it was because of the flooring. So that's one ghost you can see there. The other one is Junius Booth. That's the father of John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln in a theater. Now, the interesting thing about this whole thing is Junius Booth was a traveling actor. There was no movie theaters. We had regular theaters. So during that time frame was also the same time that Edgar Allan Poe's mother was a child actress traveling through Charleston. Edgar Allan Poe is not from Charleston, but he was stationed here at Sullivan's Island in the Navy under the name Edgar Perry. During that time, he fell in love with a young lady, and the story of Annabelle Lee, she's allegedly buried in Unitarian Church about 2 blocks from here. It's an unmarked grave because her father didn't want Edgar to find her when he got back from fighting. So, we don't know which grave it is. Nobody will confirm it. The church won't confirm it. The Edgar Allan Poe Museum and Historical Society won't confirm it. But, allegedly, this is where it all went down. So, if you didn't know that, Annabelle Lee happened right here in Charleston. So, read the poem again, you'll start to see the ties. So, it's really cool stuff. Look at that, I get the word sacrifice. That's funny. So, why are we here? That building over there with like the red crosses on it, those are actual earthquake bolts, just like you guys saw in other buildings. You see the one with the red roof, the white building? So that's the powder magazine. That is the very corner of the Charlestown walls. So the Charlestown wall came to a corner about half a block away from it. This is where we kept our gunpowder, away from the water. It's got big, thick walls, 32 inches thick, and it's also got sand from 1712 in the roof. We had to do some repairs, and we found that the sand was still intact. Sand does not degrade. So let's say it gets attacked from the water, which is behind you, and the blast would be contained by the nice thick walls, and the sand would keep the blast down, therefore containing the Charlestown Wall and any other buildings around it. It's a very cool museum. That's what it is now. So it served in 7 different wars. No crazy deaths or any kind of prisoner action was there. It just held gunpowder for a short amount of time, and then they moved it so that they could hide it. There's a pirate attached to this place because this is our oldest government building on the East Coast. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's another tour coming through here. We get a lot of tours coming up here. So we're going to dive into this place because Anne Bonny, let me tell you the quick story on her. Anne Bonny was from Ireland. Her dad was a big political leader. Okay, so he wanted her to get married. Sorry, this is the story where I have to remember all the details. She got married to a man named James, but she had an affair with a pirate named Calico Jack. Okay, Calico Jack Rackham, and he had a crew, and she wanted to be part of it. So the two had an affair, and she dressed up like a man to become part of the crew. The crew is very small. It's only 13 people plus her. So she finds another person on her doing the exact same thing that she's doing. Another female, dressed like a man. The two become friends, possibly lovers. We don't know. Again, the story's been told 1,000 different ways. So with that being said, the two become friends, and that woman's name was Mary Reed, if I didn't mention that. So Mary and Anne become friends, but then the ship gets captured. So Anne's the only one that's trying to defend the ship, and all the other guys are too drunk down below to even fight. So the whole ship gets captured. All the men get tried and hung for piracy. Anne and Mary both declare pregnancy. They were tried, convicted, but because they were pregnant, their hanging was delayed. Now, Anne's father bailed her out because, again, big political leader from Ireland, and she came back to the States, came to Charleston, West Virginia, and then we don't know where she went from there. Now, she allegedly lived a life until she was 84, remarried, had kids, the whole night, just a normal life, no piracy. But Mary died in jail. We don't know if the pregnancies were true. We don't know anything about these two ladies after that trial. So, this is where I'm trying to learn more from the details that we get from our spirit boxes. So, with your spirit box, I definitely want you to listen in. If you want to ask Anne or Mary any questions, just get proof that they're here, ask them to claim their name, get the name of the ship that they were on, who did she have an affair with, whatever questions you want to ask. So we're going to kind of walk up to the side of this, and then we're going to go out that opening and take a look at the front, and then we're going to wrap up the night and see what kind of happens from here. So I'm just going to leave.
But we want to talk to Anne.
Anne has more, I guess, history. Not that Mary's life was so easy, but I want to know more about Anne. I'm reading a ton of books about her right now and trying to put all these facts and clues together. Graduate? Maybe we still have Eliza hanging out with us.
It wouldn't be talking about Courtney as graduate.
We don't know that.
Oh, okay, because they could still be pulling stuff, or like they're just telling us that they've been around and they are
They're
listening.
watching what we're doing. Like the word listening that came up, she had that thing up to her ear.
Yeah.
She's obviously listening.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm taking that as a definitive clue that somebody was here watching
Somebody's
us.
here.
I don't know who it was. But yeah, you can see how small the building is. And it's got 8 giant pillars on the outside of it and then one in the center. And they all meet with a brick ceiling inside. They call it a groin vault because it basically looks like legs that come around it.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous building inside. And it shows off all the different uniforms of all the different wars it served in. I actually have a yearly pass because they have a great library in there. They have books I can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
But really cool place. And somebody actually asked me what the building is behind it. I know it was part of a textile merchant type place, and I know that the buildings are attached somehow, but I don't know the full history and even what's in there now. So I'm not
really?
gonna. Somebody says, "Is that apartments right now?" I'm like, it could be. I don't know.
It kind of looks like it.
Yeah, this is the oldest government building on the East Coast.
Huh.
Now, when I say government building, we do have one other building here in town that's a year older than this, but it's a house.
Oh.
It's called the Pink House, and it was finished in 1712, but there's no record of it. So, again, it's like 400 square feet. It's 3 floors, 1 room per floor, like very small house.
Right.
But because of the age of it, I think it sold for like 1.3. Yeah, it's crazy.
Imagine, huh?
It's not far from here. It's on Chalmers Street.
Huh.
It's on a cobblestone street. You can't miss it.
Hmm.
And it's a pink house. Like they have to keep it
They
pink
have to keep it.
because that's the name of it. It's
Yeah.
called the Pink House. It used to be a bar, a tavern. It was all kinds of things.
Really?
Oh yeah.
They've changed it over the years.
Oh, look at that. It said Riot. Wound. What else? Come on. I got Riot and Wound. Dresser. That's interesting. Throw a piece of furniture in the middle of all that stuff. Cheat, Riot, Wound, and Dresser. Sometimes there's a phrase in there if you look at them. So what I normally do is I look at words around it. So like I have common sacrifice. So common sacrifice would be a phrase.
Right.
You know, I'll kind of look for those kind of things. Listening. Possibly listening. I don't know. Teenage listening. I don't know. Catholic. I don't know who Tristan would be.
Oh.
Like, there's quite a bit in here. I mean, we only got 40. Normally I get about 50 to 60 in a 90-minute tour. So not a whole lot of activity, but could be, you know, some definite relevant things. And I learn stuff every day. There's certain things
yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Let me look into that.
Right.
If it doesn't match up,
Then,
you know, through a couple of Google searches and historical societies,
Oh, yeah.
then it's not relevant. I move on. So this is kind of, you know, the first thing I look at when I'm going through the words. And then I start listening to that, and then I watch the video, matching up the time frames. Wife texting me. She's going to bed. She can't take it anymore. She graduates with her first bachelor degree in April, I think. April or May. So she was up all night doing homework. She's like, "You got 2 tours?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Good. I'm getting homework."
Yeah, exactly.
So again, you can see the
Can I hear words on this and it doesn't make sense? I said administration.
administration. That's pretty cool. I like that word. So you can see how small it is. Obviously, they have the big established 1713, but that sand is they filled it in 1712. Again, very cool building. All of these like galleries and shit. Like this is all for show. There's no killings here. There's no prisoners. It's all to keep up the whole, all the different wars that it served.
I see what you're saying. I see it now.
And it actually bothers me that they do that. It's like, come on, just
Yeah.
be truthful.
Yeah.
You know, and the guides here are great. Like you walk in and they'll tell you anything you want to know. I mean, they know a lot of stuff about one little building.
Sure.
So this little get up over here is
Yeah.
like blows my mind.
Yeah.
What was that?
Brought to you by.
Oh, that was a commercial.
Yep. Or even still, sometimes, again, think of the Red Barn for a second. I don't know if I told you this, but one night, it was during holiday time, somebody said, "What color is the barn?" Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. We got the word red.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So it could be brat is what they wanted to give us.
Yeah.
So take that for what it is. But ladies, if you're okay, I'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay.
Stop the recordings, and we'll get you guys going in the right direction. Thoughts, questions, comments, anything you want to ask me?
No. I'm excited to see you.
Yeah. And again, most of the time, the excitement's the next morning.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Charleston. Let me stop the recording before I get that on video, and I'm in the courtroom trying to tell them.
Oh my God. Oh, dang.
Yeah, right? So I started using a new voice recorder. I'm constantly upgrading all my equipment.
Oh,
and this
yeah.
voice recorder is now, it connects to my phone, so I don't have to take it out anymore. Not to